Book 1 Zuko defeated a Fire Navy admiral, but Book 3 Zuko defeated his sister.
And that's a pretty huge deal if you know anything about Azula.
I agree! From the Dragon of the West, a child prodigy, a new kind of Fire Lord, and even an Avatar grandfather. Let's check out how their flames burn so bright in this skill evolution playlist.
And when you're ready for more blazing bloodlines, watch Avatar Braving the Elements here on YouTube or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From fugitive
This is humiliating.
to Fire Lord, let's illuminate Zuko's journey and explore how his bending evolved as a result of his complicated emotional struggle. We should first note that during Zuko's upbringing, firebending was widely viewed as an art of destruction, fueled by anger and rage. And nobody embodied that spirit more than Zuko's father, Ozai, a merciless and violent man who wanted to rule the world.
You will obey me, or this defiant breath will be your last.
A blatant contrast to Zuko's mother, Ursa, who was kind and nurturing. Zuko was essentially raised by a symbol of good and a symbol of evil. Because of that, a war of decency raged inside of him. And since bending required a strong emotional focus, the young prince struggled to learn firebending.
I failed.
No, I loved watching you. That's who you are, Zuko. Someone who keeps fighting even though it's hard.
Understandably, Zuko found himself very close with his mother.
That's what moms are like. If you mess with their babies, they're gonna bite you back.
And Ursa would soon bite back after Zuko became a target. Behind closed doors, Ozai made a move for the throne, which enraged the current Fire Lord.
Grandfather said Dad's punishment should fit his crime. You must know the pain of losing a firstborn son by sacrificing your own.
You're lying. Dad would never do that to me.
Your father would never do what to you? What is going on here?
Ozai was preparing to sacrifice his son, but Ursa secretly made a deal to spare Zuko's life. In exchange, she was banished from the Fire Nation capital.
Mom?
Zuko, please, my love, listen to me. Everything I've done to protect you. Remember this, Zuko. No matter how things may seem to change, never forget who you are.
That's the last we'd see of Ursa for the foreseeable future. Though her kind, moral spirit would live on inside Zuko, raging a war against his father's guidance. Meanwhile, his father gained a new title.
Hail Fire Lord Ozai!
In his teenage years, Zuko tried to embrace his father's legacy by leaning into the military lifestyle, perhaps prematurely.
You can't sacrifice an entire division like that. Those soldiers love and defend our nation. How can you betray them?
That outburst, fueled by his mother's morality, was a massive turning point in Zuko's life. He'd be punished for his insolence with an Agni Kai, a fire duel. Time for one of Zuko's first major firebending tests. After years of tutors, he was confident in facing the general who he had insulted. But as it turned out, Zuko would be facing the Fire Lord himself.
Please, Father. I only had the Fire Nation's best interest at heart. I'm sorry I spoke out of turn.
You will fight for your honor.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
Zuko was scarred by his father, then exiled, sent on this impossible mission to capture the mysterious Avatar. That would be his only hope of coming home with honor. Nearly 3 years later, Zuko had plenty of anger to fuel his bending.
I don't need any calming tea. I need to capture the Avatar.
Zuko spent his downtime training under Uncle Iroh. Though, even with all his rage, Zuko's power fell short.
Again.
This is because Iroh was teaching the true approach to firebending, one that was not rooted in anger and destruction.
Power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles. The breath becomes energy in the body. The energy extends past your limbs and becomes fire.
That lesson wouldn't last, not after the Avatar emerged. The mission from his father began to consume him, which caused more trouble when his mother's morality flared up.
Do it!
Like when he refused to scar another general.
That's it?
Your father raised a coward.
Next time you get in my way, I promise, I won't hold back.
His internal struggle, the two paths inspired by his contrasting parents, would split his identity. The man Ursa wanted him to be would sort of come to life as the Blue Spirit. During this time, we'd also witness Zuko's impressive swordsmanship and agility.
Who are you? Are you here to rescue me?
But why the mask? As it turns out, Ursa, a former stage actress, kept a collection of masks from her past life hidden in the royal palace. It's likely young Zuko found those and kept this one to remember his missing mother. The prince began wearing this disguise when rebelling against his father's reign.
Have you heard of the Blue Spirit, General Iroh?
Just rumors. I don't think he is real.
He's real, all right. He's a criminal and an enemy of the Fire Nation. But I have a feeling justice will catch up with him soon.
Unfortunately, just like Ursa, the Blue Spirit had no place under Ozai's rule.
Oh!
An attempt on his life, Zuko was presumed dead, but it just made him more desperate to restore his honor, much to the chagrin of Uncle Iroh.
Ever since I lost my son,
Uncle, you don't have to say it.
I think of you as my own.
I know, Uncle. We'll meet again. After I have the Avatar.
Remember your breath of fire. It could save your life out there.
I will.
Iroh was right. That breath of fire came in clutch as Zuko demonstrated his current firebending skills to defeat Katara. He even captured the Avatar. Well, briefly.
Here for a rematch?
Trust me, Zuko. It's not gonna be much of a match.
Zuko's firebending skill had grown, but his planning was weak. He could have died if Team Avatar had left him lost in the tundra. It was clear the prince had more to learn. After the failed siege of the north, Zuko was reunited with a frighteningly familiar face.
Hello, brother. Uncle.
What are you doing here?
Princess Azula, Zuko's younger sister, represented the offspring Ozai wanted, merciless and powerful. More powerful than Zuko, at least. She was the epitome of anger and rage, so much so that her power had grown thunderous. Thankfully, Uncle Iroh had Zuko's back. Redirecting lightning? Now that would be a skill worth learning. It was time Uncle Iroh and Prince Zuko abandoned their Fire Nation identity altogether. As refugees, Iroh's firebending lessons were exchanged for lessons on humility.
Spare coins for weary travelers?
This is humiliating. We're royalty. These people should be giving us whatever we want.
As the saying goes, you can lead an ostrich horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
I thought a lot about what you said.
You did? Good, good.
It's helped me realize something. We no longer have anything to gain by traveling together. I need to find my own way.
Zuko went on his own, finding himself broke and hungry. But still, he chose a path of decency.
Thanks for not ratting me out.
While hiding his identity, he saw what a family could be. Caring.
Supper's going to be ready soon. Would you like to stay?
Zuko was welcome until he used fire to protect that family. Immediately, he was shunned.
Not a step closer.
It's yours. You should have it.
No, I hate you.
This was a painful reminder of how reprehensible Ozai's legacy could be, as was their next encounter with Azula and Team Avatar. Once Uncle Iroh recovered, it was clear Zuko needed to continue building his skills by learning how to bend electricity.
Positive energy and negative energy. Only a select few firebenders can separate these energies. This creates an imbalance. The energy wants to restore balance, and in the moment the positive and negative energy come crashing back together. You provide release and guidance, creating lightning.
But again, Zuko's emotional struggle had a direct impact on his bending.
Ugh! Why can't I do it? Instead of lightning, it keeps exploding in my face, like everything always does.
Consider that lesson failed for now. Instead, they dive into an even more important lesson. Understanding all 4 elements is key to becoming a great firebender, the same mindset which makes the Avatar so powerful.
You see, the technique I am about to teach you is one I learned by studying the waterbenders.
Like the waterbenders who use their opponent's flow of energy against them, Iroh taught Zuko how to redirect lightning.
Excellent. You've got it.
Great! I'm ready to try with real lightning.
What, are you crazy? Lightning is very dangerous.
I thought that was the point. You teaching me how to protect myself from it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to shoot lightning at you.
If you're lucky, you will never have to use this technique at all.
That skill, while useful, brought Zuko no closer to winning the war inside himself.
You've always thrown everything you could at me. Well, I can take it, and now I can give it back! Go on! Strike me! You've never held back before!
This would be the height of Zuko's emotional turmoil, until his obsession re-emerged in Ba Sing Se, leading to a harsh reality check.
What do you plan to do now that you have found the Avatar's bison? Keep it locked in our new apartment? Should I go put on a pot of tea for him?
First, I have to get it out of here.
And then what? You never think these things through.
I know my own destiny, Uncle.
Is it your own destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has tried to force on you? Who are you? And what do you want?
Zuko released Appa and his alter ego.
You did the right thing, nephew.
The blue spirit sank, but his emotional struggles surfaced, causing the prince to be physically sick. As a result, we saw for ourselves the war raging inside his head.
It's getting late. Are you planning to retire soon, my lord?
I'm not tired.
Relax, Fire Lord Zuko. Just let go. Give in to it. Shut your eyes for a while.
No, Fire Lord Zuko. Do not listen to the blue dragon. You should get out of here right now. Go! Before it's too late.
The 2 dragons represented the 2 sides of his family, pulling him to and from paths of self-destruction. And then, another nightmare showing an obsession consuming him.
Ah! Ah!
Just like his nightmares warned, Zuko was tested as 2 family figures pulled him down separate paths.
I need you, Zuko. And the only way we win is together. At the end of this day, you will have your honor back. You will have Father's love. You will have everything you want.
Zuko, I am begging you. Look into your heart and see what it is that you truly want.
Disappointingly, Zuko chose the path he had pursued for the last 3 years. Even when the Avatar escaped, presumed dead, Azula claimed her prize, her brother's loyalty.
Today, you restored your own honor.
They may have won the battle, but Zuko was losing the war inside himself.
Welcome home.
The prince's regret was obvious. Not that it mattered. He had made his bed in a den of lion vultures. As he lost sight of his mother's morality, Zuko embraced the sour lifestyle of the Fire Nation royalty. He had luxury, praise, acceptance by his father. But his true father figure, Uncle Iroh?
You're not going to say anything? You're a crazy old man! You're crazy! And if you weren't in jail, you'd be sleeping in a gutter!
The prince had followed his darkest destiny, the one set before him by his sinister father. But there was hope. Uncle Iroh revealed a family secret that would illuminate his mother's legacy.
You have more than one great-grandfather, Prince Zuko. Sozin was your father's grandfather. Your mother's grandfather was Avatar Roku.
Why are you telling me this?
Because understanding the struggle between your 2 great-grandfathers can help you better understand the battle within yourself.
This turned the tide on Zuko's internal struggle. He could still live an honorable life, even if it meant setting fire to everything he knew.
I know I've made some bad choices. But today, I'm gonna set things right.
That would mean taking advantage of the eclipse, which would halt firebending altogether, and then challenging his biggest adversary yet, Ozai.
For so long, all I wanted was for you to love me, to accept me. I thought it was my honor that I wanted, but really, I was just trying to please you. You, my father, who banished me just for talking out of turn. My father, who challenged me, a 13-year-old boy, to an Agni Kai. How can you possibly justify a duel with a child?
It was to teach you respect.
It was cruel, and it was wrong.
Then you've learned nothing.
No, I've learned everything, and I've had to learn it on my own.
Standing up to his father led to a violent altercation, but his first successful attempt at redirecting electricity. A powerful leap forward in skill. And as he escaped, the prince shut the door on his father's legacy, ending the war inside himself. Finally, he had set on a path that would make his mother and his great-grandfather Avatar Roku proud. But as a result, he needed to be rebuilt from the ground up. Part of that included joining a new kind of family.
I know you must be surprised to see me here. Not really, since you followed us all over the world. Right. Well, anyway, what I wanted to tell you about is that I've changed. And I'm good now, and, well, I think I should join your group. Oh, and I can teach firebending. To you.
The group was hesitant to accept Zuko until he helped them defeat an explosive bounty hunter. After that dangerous display, Zuko was cautiously welcome.
I won't let you down, I promise.
It was time to teach the Avatar firebending. But was the student ready to become the teacher?
What was that? That was the worst firebending I've ever seen.
But a consequence to rediscovering himself meant rediscovering firebending as well.
Maybe your firebending comes from rage, and you just don't have enough anger to fuel it the way you used to.
You're gonna need to learn to draw your firebending from a different source. I recommend the original source.
The original source of firebending? Dragons. After they were assumed to be extinct, Zuko and Aang met Rand and Shaw, who illuminated the true meaning of firebending.
All this time, I thought firebending was destruction. But now I know what it really is. It's energy and life.
Yeah, it's like the sun, but inside of you.
This might sound familiar. It's actually a message that Uncle Iroh had been attempting to teach Zuko all along.
Power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles.
Zuko's power was recharged, fueled like never before. And in the final weeks of summer, Zuko learned about courage from Sokka, mercy from Katara, and forgiveness from Uncle Iroh.
How can you forgive me so easily? I thought you would be furious with me.
I was never angry with you. I was sad because I was afraid you lost your way.
I did lose my way.
But you found it again.
Now, Zuko's journey had taken him to the end of the 100-year war. He had mastered firebending. He conquered the war inside himself. So, what role would he play next?
Zuko, you must return to the Fire Nation so that when the Fire Lord falls, you can assume the throne and restore peace and order. But Azula will be there, waiting for you.
I can handle Azula.
Not alone. You'll need help.
You're right. Katara, how would you like to help me put Azula in her place?
It would be my pleasure.
The stage was set. Both siblings were fueled by Sozin's comet. Their firebending was amplified, but Zuko still had something Azula didn't. Fire born from energy and life, not anger and rage. The prince demonstrated the agility of airbenders and the groundedness of earthbenders. His firebending could even make the dragons proud. And when he channeled the waterbenders and prepared to redirect lightning, he'd end up demonstrating something entirely new: self-sacrifice. Zuko proved in that moment that he was his mother's son. He risked his life for someone else's. In turn, Katara went on to save the day. She froze Azula in ice like she had once done to Zuko himself. But unlike young Zuko, Azula wasn't taught Breath of Fire from Uncle Iroh. Eventually, Sozin's comet passed. The war was over. Zuko recovered and went on to lead the Fire Nation as the rightful heir to the throne.
All hail Fire Lord Zuko!
Now, despite being a master firebender with a strong self-identity, Zuko still had much to learn, especially around politics and his mother. But that's a journey for another day.
From child prodigy to second command of the entire Fire Nation, let's deep dive into Princess Azula's journey and explore how her unique style evolved to make her one of the most dangerous firebenders of all time. We should start at the beginning. Azula's parents, Ozai and Ursa, named her after Fire Lord Azulan, who, like his father Sozin, practiced firebending as a weapon fueled by hate, anger, and a desire for power. And just like her grandfather, Azula was a naturally gifted firebender, able to pull off advanced techniques at an early age.
She's a true prodigy, just like her grandfather for whom she's named.
Quickly becoming her father's favorite, Azula outshined her brother Zuko in every way, including her relentless study of military strategy.
Great-grandfather won because...
Because even though his army was outnumbered, he cleverly calculated his advantages. The enemy was downwind and there was a drought. Their defenses burned to a crisp in minutes.
Correct, my dear.
Azula's skill as a tactician and a manipulator developed soon thereafter, as she coolly played into her father's favoritism, even suggesting to her mother that her grandfather wasn't fit to rule the Fire Nation.
He's not exactly the powerful Fire Lord he used to be. Someone will probably end up taking his place soon.
This morbid suggestion would eventually tear her family apart, leading to the poisoning of Fire Lord Azula, her mother Ursa's banishment, and ultimately, Ozai's ascension to Fire Lord. And later, during Zuko's Agni Kai against Ozai, Azula watched with glee as her brother was permanently scarred and stripped of his birthright. With Zuko now banished on a wild goose chase to find the long-lost Avatar, Azula had become the crown princess and the direct heir to the Fire Lord. She would spend the next 3 years training with her mentors Lo and Li to become one of the Fire Nation's most powerful warriors with the development of her blue firebending. Scientifically, blue flames burn around twice the temperature of orange or yellow, and based on her sheer destructive force, we can only assume that Azula's flames are at least twice as strong as a typical firebender's. Also, rather than needing a closed fist or an open hand, Azula could create fire with only 2 fingers, as well as wield it in new inventive ways, like fire blades that could cut a building in half, giant spinning discs of flames, or even shields for defense. By age 14, Azula was not only one of the Fire Nation's most powerful benders, she was also extremely skilled in hand-to-hand combat. When she tried to capture Zuko, Azula was able to hold him off without any bending at all, dodging every single attack by evasive maneuvers or throwing off his bending form. With her combined physical strength, agility, and bending, Azula was able to overtake multiple opponents in any given fight. Along with Azula's incredible combat abilities, she's also a master of deception.
Dad's going to kill you.
From playing mind games with her brother Zuko,
Azula always lies. Azula always lies.
To even when her bending was taken away by the Day of Black Sun, Azula was still able to successfully stall Team Avatar by masking her heart rate against Toph's lie detection.
And stick to the truth. I'll be able to tell if you're lying.
Are you sure? I'm a pretty good liar. I am a 400-foot-tall purple platypus bear with pink horns and silver wings.
Okay, you're good, I admit it.
With a few clever disguises, Azula eventually overthrew the Earth Kingdom without a single fight when she, Ty Lee, and Mei dressed themselves as Kyoshi warriors and enacted the coup of Ba Sing Se.
We are the Earth King's humble servants.
Azula was even able to convince a reformed Zuko that he could restore his honor to the Fire Nation by teaming up with her to capture Aang.
I need you, Zuko. I've plotted every move of this day, this glorious day in Fire Nation history, and the only way we win is together. At the end of this day, you will have your honor back. You will have Father's love. You will have everything you want.
And of course, as she predicted, Azula's plan worked flawlessly. Whenever facing a threat like Aang about to enter the Avatar state, Azula could always turn to one of the rarest and deadliest sub-skills in the art of firebending. lightning. Azula learned to master this advanced technique during her rigorous training in childhood, and while we never saw her redirect lightning like Iroh, Azula could still create electrical blasts capable of blowing holes in the solid rock. In fact, the bolt of lightning Azula shot at Aang was so powerful, it almost killed him, and would have broken the Avatar cycle right then and there if not for Katara healing him with her spirit water. That said, lightning wasn't the last trick up Azula's sleeve, as she had discovered jet propulsion, a technique so difficult we wouldn't see it from another firebender until Sozin's Comet. Azula could use intense blasts of fire from each of her limbs to literally rocket herself across great distances, or sometimes right into her enemies, and even facing certain death.
She's not gonna make it.
Azula was still strong enough to save herself from a total freefall with her bending and a hair comb.
Of course she did.
For short bursts of time, Azula could also use her jet propulsion to take flight. She was truly poised to be the strongest firebender of all time, if not for allowing her rage and desire for power to get the better of her.
Come on, Slowpoke, faster!
Before Ozai named Azula his successor as Fire Lord, he revealed to her that she would be staying home while he would lead his invasion of the Earth Kingdom alone.
But I thought we were going to do this together.
My decision is final.
You can't treat me like this. You can't treat me like Zuko.
Azula, silence yourself.
But it was my idea to burn everything to the ground. I deserve to be by your side.
Azula!
Ozai was willing to let his daughter take over his second-hand kingdom, but she couldn't reconcile that they wouldn't rule side by side as equals, and that he, in fact, would be the supreme leader of the entire Earth.
From this moment on, I will be known as the Phoenix King.
Unable to deal with the reality of her father's decision, however, Azula began to succumb to a full-on mental break, just hours before her coronation as the new Fire Lord.
You're all banished!
She became suspicious of everyone, and even ordered her closest advisors to fight in Agni Kai.
But we're not firebenders.
All right, fine. Lo, you're banished. Lee, you can stay.
But I'm Lee, so who's banished?
And while committing the worst mistake she might have ever made, trimming her own bangs, Azula began to hallucinate visions of her mother.
What a shame. You always had such beautiful hair.
Azula was incapable of accepting her mother's love, and allowed her anger, rage, and obsession to completely overtake her sanity. And sadly, there was no coming back for her after this point. When Katara and Zuko arrived to face Azula at her coronation, it was a flip of all their previous fights. Azula was wild and careless, while Zuko was calm, centered, and finally prepared to face her. So for the title of Fire Lord, he agreed to a one-on-one Agni Kai.
There's something off about her. I can't explain it, but she's slipping.
The Agni Kai for the fate of the Fire Nation occurred on the day of Sozin's Comet, which returned to the Earth every 100 years and greatly enhanced the power of every firebender. Azula was able to launch a wall of blue fire towards her brother, but because Zuko had restored his bending with the help of the Sun Warriors, his red and orange flames were enough to match Azula's for the first time.
No lightning today? What's the matter? Afraid I'll redirect it?
I'll show you lightning!
With Zuko prepared to redirect her strongest weapon and no options left, Azula resorted to deception once again, firing her charged-up lightning bolt towards a defenseless Katara. Zuko took the full bolt of lightning, sacrificing himself, but saving Katara's life. But Katara was now alone against a crazed and comet-enhanced Azula, who immediately attacked her as soon as she tried to help Zuko. With nowhere to hide and only a small amount of water to bend for protection, Azula had Katara on the run for her life. That is until Katara found a sewer drain and decided to play Azula's own game of deception against her. Azula never learned the Breath of Fire technique that Iroh taught Zuko to keep him warm in extreme weather. And when Katara froze Azula in ice, she was easily able to waterbend herself free from the trap, keeping the Fire Princess from attacking so she could chain up her arms and legs and put an end to her terror for good. If Azula had spent any time with her uncle, she would have learned fire was born from energy and life.
Power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles.
In spite of being one of the most powerful and unique firebenders of her time, Katara bested Azula with a simple trick and was able to heal Zuko just in time. With the end of the war, he went on to lead a brand new age in the Fire Nation, while Azula was still haunted by her own demons. Feeling pity on Azula, Zuko placed her into a mental health facility where her mind continued to wither away. That is until she was asked by Zuko to help in the search for their mother. And while Azula agreed secretly, she planned to confront her mother with catastrophic intent. Her emotions burned as hot as her blue fire, and Azula ended up escaping into the night. She was finally free to lick her mental wounds, and of course, prepare for her next devious scheme. Here is a closer look at Iroh's firebending evolution. As we study Iroh, we'll explore how this humble man became the legendary Dragon of the West. Iroh's firebending stems from several different styles. The original style, Sozin's style, and his own style. Here we'll break down how Iroh used each style to become a full-fledged master. During Fire Lord Sozin's reign, firebending focused its power on destruction and aggression.
Water brings healing and life, but fire brings only destruction and pain. It forces those of us burdened with its care to walk a razor's edge between humanity and savagery.
Iroh and Ozai became extremely powerful firebenders, but Iroh always knew there was more to the element. Fire wasn't always the element of anger and destruction, but the original ways had been lost in history. As a young man, Iroh traveled the world and studied benders and non-benders from the other nations. He learned to take the styles from benders of different elements and incorporate them into his own bending.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
During his journey, he found the secretive Sun Warriors. Their civilization was home to the original form of firebending that was passed down from the dragons.
I understand.
The dragon's technique was thousands of years old and hadn't been practiced in over a century.
We'll just tap dance our way to victory over the Fire Lord. It's a sacred form that happens to be thousands of years old.
Oh yeah? What's your little form called?
The dancing dragon.
Ran and Shah were the last known dragons in the world, so in order to keep them a secret, Iroh claimed he killed them and earned the title of Dragon of the West.
I can't believe there are still living dragons. My uncle Iroh said he faced the last dragon and killed it.
So your uncle lied?
Actually, it wasn't a total lie. Iroh was the last outsider to face the Masters. They deemed him worthy and passed the secret on to him as well.
Using what he learned from the Masters, he became a great general for the Fire Nation. He found success in not just his bending, but his wisdom and strategic thinking. He was as wise as he was strong. It's pretty wild how close he came to conquering Ba Sing Se and taking over the world.
I hope you all may see it someday. If we don't burn it to the ground first.
But his son Lu Ten fought alongside him and died in battle.
My beloved Lu Ten, I will see you again.
After his death, Iroh abandoned the siege of Ba Sing Se and disappeared for a long time. No one knew for sure where he went. Some say he traveled to the spirit world. We know Iroh can see spirits whenever they're in the human world, so it's no surprise that he also has a strong spiritual connection.
What's the problem?
Nothing.
When he eventually returned to the Fire Nation, he wanted to pass down what he learned to his nephew, Prince Zuko.
No, power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles. The breath becomes energy in the body. The energy extends past your limbs and becomes fire.
During their travels, we saw Iroh's skills on full display, and we don't just mean his firebending. As a former general, Iroh is a master tactician. He was always planning ahead while never being too erratic. He and Zuko never feared being outnumbered and were always one step ahead of their opponents.
5 against 2. You're clearly outnumbered.
That's true, but you are clearly outmatched.
One of the more crucial lessons he taught Zuko was how to redirect lightning, a powerful but potentially deadly skill. Iroh, however, developed a special technique after carefully studying different forms of waterbending.
From the stomach, you direct it up again and out the other arm. The stomach detour is critical. You must not let the lightning pass through your heart, where the damage could be deadly. You may wish to try a physical motion to get a feel for the pathway's flow, like this. Now, are you focusing your energy? Can you feel your own chi flowing in, down, up, and out?
I think so.
Come on, you've got to feel the flow.
He taught this technique to Zuko, who in turn passed it down to Avatar Aang. Iroh's philosophy was to study and adapt to the other elements. Again, it's all about balance. He never panics. Part of what makes him a great bender is his quick thinking.
Did I ever tell you how I got the nickname, the Dragon of the West?
I'm not interested in a lengthy anecdote, Uncle.
It's more of a demonstration, really.
As a prisoner, he used the time he had to plan out an immaculate escape. He took advantage of the eclipse and literally fought his way out.
Where's my uncle?
He's gone. He busted himself out. I've never seen anything like it. He was like a one-man army.
We've already seen what makes Iroh so strong. Now imagine seeing everything amplified with the power of Sozin's comet.
Only once every 100 years can a firebender experience this kind of power.
Even when Iroh passed on, he crossed over to the spirit world. From there, he would guide lost souls and even help out the Avatar.
I don't know what to do.
Just because you are the Avatar doesn't mean you will have all the answers.
I know many avatars have needed guidance, but I'm the only one since Avatar 1 that can't get help from my past lives. I wish I could talk to Aang.
You know, Zuko and Aang were close friends.
Lord Zuko, of course.
Yes, my nephew. Their relationship started off a little rocky, but they grew to become lifelong friends. Best friends.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're right about the spirit world. I came here looking for someone else, but I'm glad I found you.
From a mighty avatar to Aang's mentor and guide to the spirit world. Let's deep dive into Roku's journey and explore how his bending evolved to make him one of the wisest and most powerful avatars of all time. Let's go back to where it started in the Fire Nation capital. As a boy, Roku grew up as the best friend to the Crown Prince and future Fire Lord Sozin. And they did everything together, from being awkward around girls to training with each other in the deadly art of firebending. While naturally skilled benders in their own right, Sozin and Roku would spar during the daylight hours to absorb energy from the sun and generate even more powerful flames they could use to attack. Along with the occasional tree root.
Looks like I win again, Roku.
Are you kidding? The tree root did all the work.
Roku and Sozin didn't just share a passion for setting hearts and objects on fire, but they also shared the same birthday, and they celebrated together every year until they turned 16. That's the day the Fire Sages showed up with a surprise for both of them.
Did something happen to my father?
No, Prince Sozin. We are not here for you. We are here to announce the identity of the next Avatar. It is our honor to serve you, Avatar Roku.
Roku was now destined to travel the Earth and master the elements. But when Sozin went to say goodbye, he discovered that Roku was reluctant to leave after the Fire Sages told him there would be no need to pack a bag. As the new Avatar, Roku would have to give up all of his worldly possessions.
Here, I hope you're at least allowed to have this.
But this is a royal artifact. It's supposed to be worn by the Crown Prince.
I want you to have it.
That very same artifact was later passed down by Iroh to his nephew Prince Zuko after Zuko discovered that he was in fact Roku's great-grandson. Over 100 years in the past, Roku began his Avatar journey to learn the other three elements by studying airbending at the Southern Air Temple with an old friend of Aang's, a young monk Gyatso.
Hey Gyatso, you want to see a new glider trick?
Check this out.
Roku took to airbending quickly with the help of Gyatso, as they spent their early days having fun and inventing wild new techniques with their gliders. Sometimes, they even showed off their new moves to the fellow air nomads. After learning everything he could about airbending, Roku traveled to the Northern Water Tribe to study waterbending. As a natural firebender, it was difficult for Roku, but after immersing himself in Water Tribe culture, he mastered the element and was able to defeat his teacher in combat with a tidal wave that launched him clear across the city. Roku eventually moved on to his final element with the art of earthbending, and he excelled, arguably matching his natural firebending skills in both precision and power. Near the end of his studies, Roku became so proficient at the earth wave technique, he could scale an entire mountain in seconds.
Huh?
After over 12 years of rigorous training, Roku had finally mastered the 4 elements. But his journey to become a fully realized Avatar had only just begun.
Customarily, my subjects bow before greeting me. But you're the exception.
Roku returned home greeted with open arms by Sozin, who was now the reigning Fire Lord, but still had time to be the best man at his wedding. It truly seemed as if their friendship could survive through anything. Or so they thought.
Our nation is enjoying an unprecedented time of peace and wealth. Our people are happy, and we're so fortunate in so many ways.
Where are you going with this?
I've been thinking. We should share this prosperity with the rest of the world. In our hands is the most successful empire in history. It's time we expanded it.
No, the 4 nations are meant to be just that. 4.
Roku, you haven't even stopped to consider the possibilities.
There are no possibilities. This is the last I want to hear about this.
While it took 17 years, eventually Roku discovered that Sozin had undermined him as he began to seize power by setting up Fire Nation colonies in the Earth Kingdom.
I've seen the colonies, Sozin. How dare you occupy Earth Kingdom territory?
Furious at Sozin's betrayal, Roku called upon the strength of all of his past lives and entered the Avatar state, greatly enhancing all of his abilities. By this point, Roku's airbending had advanced so much he could suspend himself as high as the royal palace.
I'm letting you go in the name of our past friendship. But I warn you, even a single step out of line will result in your permanent end.
Roku and Sozin wouldn't see each other again until late one evening, 25 years later. The island where Roku made his home had become engulfed in a volcanic eruption with smoke and ash so thick it was nearly impossible to breathe or see anything in front of you.
Let's go!
While his wife and the villagers fled to safety, Roku stayed back to slow the volcano. At first with an island-sized air sphere. But even Roku's monsoon-like gusts of winds were like a gentle breeze against the eruption. Surrounded on all sides by poisonous gas and intense heat, Roku used everything in his avatar power to hold back the volcano, including earthquakes to funnel the lava runoff.
Bang! Get out of here! I'm fine!
Roku's Dragon Fang feared the worst, but even weakened by the poisonous gas, he was still able to call upon the Avatar state to help him punch a hole through the mountain and bend a river of lava out through the other side. In spite of Roku's efforts, he was losing strength and hope seemed lost. That is until the last person he expected showed up.
Need a hand, old friend?
Sozin?
There's not a moment to waste.
Sozin and Roku were fighting on the same side together for the first time in 40 years. 2 master firebenders going toe-to-toe with a volcano. Roku's quick earthbending even saved Sozin's life just before certain death. The old friends had almost made it to safety until Roku got hit with a full blast of poisonous volcanic gas. Sozin did nothing while Roku begged for his life, his true intentions finally revealed. With the Avatar gone, all his plans to expand the Fire Nation were finally possible. With the death of Roku, the Avatar cycle was renewed with the birth of Aang, and Roku passed on to the Spirit Realm to guide Aang through his journey as the next Avatar. While Aang was lost for over 100 years, Roku would eventually be able to meet him for a short time during the winter solstice, when the line blurs between the spirit and physical world.
It's good to see you, Aang. What took you so long?
Roku told Aang about the return of Sozin's comet and that he needed to stop the Fire Lord before summer's end when he could use its power to win the war once and for all. Roku also let Aang know that there was a way for him to help the young Avatar in times of great danger. Only if he was ready.
I'm ready.
Ready? Fire!
Avatar Roku.
Enhanced by the winter solstice, Roku allowed his spirit to take control of Aang's body to defeat the Fire Nation soldiers and bend the lava deep below the earth to completely destroy the Fire Temple. Roku came to help Aang from the spirit world once more when Master Firebender and Fire Nation deserter Zhang refused to teach Aang anything about firebending.
You think I am weak, Avatar Roku? No, I did not mean that. I have mastered the elements 1,000 times in 1,000 lifetimes. Now, I must do it once again. You will teach the Avatar firebending. Yes. I will teach you.
Really? That's great!
Through the rest of Aang's Avatar journey, Roku remained his mentor, teaching him how to tap into the spirit world. Aang learned that he could call upon his past lives for guidance and even protection through the Avatar state. This defense mechanism would save Aang's life more than once, but it turned the tide in his eventual battle with the Fire Lord. Ozai had the upper hand, but Aang made quick work of the Fire Lord after entering the Avatar state and using a new skill even Roku had never mastered: energy bending. Aang spared Ozai's life, but was able to defeat him by taking away his firebending forever. After the end of the 100-Year War, Zuko was crowned the new Fire Lord, and a brand new age of the Fire Nation had begun. And while the future seemed much brighter ahead, tension still loomed as Zuko's own fear of ruling like his father Ozai resulted in a promise forced upon Aang to end his life if he ever came close. Unfortunately, a year later, Zuko appeared to be making dangerous plans. Aang sought guidance in the spirit realm, but Roku simply told him that a promise is a promise.
If I had been more decisive and acted sooner, I could have stopped Sozin and stopped the war before it started.
Even if for the greater good, Aang refused to take Roku's guidance and burned his fire amulet, permanently severing his spirit connection with Roku. And while Aang eventually proved right and Zuko found his way as Fire Lord, burning the amulet damaged his connection to all the past avatars, and Aang needed to make an entirely new medallion to regain contact with his past lives. When Aang found Roku in the spirit world again, he apologized and hugged his master. Understanding, Roku told Aang that his job as the new Avatar was to find balance between the past, present, and ultimately his own perspective. Aang would remember this lesson when he himself became a spirit guide to Avatar Korra. And just like all the Avatars who came before him, including Roku, they all needed to learn to find their own path. From a loyal friend to a mighty Avatar and everything in between. Tell us which you think is the strongest of all of Avatar Roku's many skill evolutions. Comment below and keep watching for more of your favorite Avatar moments.